Okay, yay, good morning. Ads should have gone away by now. Or at least they're almost over. I think everything looks good. They don't want to kill me. Alright. High roller mode, baby. Oh boy. I forgot we're in hell. Sorry, my Detective London keychain. God, how I missed it. Just double checking everything. Okay. Alright. Yep. God, I'm scared. I've been here before. Sat right here in this lobby, waiting for David to come and treat me to lunch. At least I think it was this lobby. Could have been some other floor. Could have been an entirely different building. All these corporate towers of Babel feel like interchangeable fractals to me, folding in on themselves in patterns of narcissistic paranoia. So monumental in the scale of their hubris, they needed to use non-Euclidean geometry when drawing up the blueprints. The greatest mind of each generation coming together just to find the most expensive way to shove their heads up their asses. It's Morgan time! Hello, good morning. How are you doing? I don't know, is something bothering you? Just doing the math on how long we'll be kept waiting here. Apparently, someone will be here shortly, so maybe if I pass the time by glaring around the place, it'll improve my mood. Ooh boy, alright. Ooh, there's people up there. I feel like this room would have something for me to read, but let's just take a look. Doing good. To think this is only one room. This complex is so massive that it doesn't even feel man-made. It's like it was carved out of a rock by waves, like it's always been here. That's the con. If this place was actually natural, there'd be birds everywhere. I hadn't considered that. Why aren't there birds in here? Probably because of what they do to the ones that get in. Super excited about this. This game is so cool. It's so cool. I'm so excited. I'm kidding. Though, I don't have a better explanation. I want to see what's going on up there. Alright, let's watch these fools. So much energy. So many people also intent. Awesome guy incoming. Oh, I'm excited. I'm scared though. You kidding? It's Saturday. The place is half empty. But doesn't everyone work on Saturdays? All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess. All these people for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Oh wait, no, that's not Morgan. That is Sarah. All these people for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. What could they all possibly be doing? Making work for themselves? You can be very cynical, can't you? Yeah, I'm terrible. But that guy over there has just been jiggling his cursor for the last 20 seconds. Is there only 3 things? I'm scared. I don't want to miss something. They changed the logo again. Noble Electronics. How's it feel stepping in here? Is this some kind of religious experience for you? It's just the corporation where my father worked. Careful now, or they'll burn you for heresy against the company. You said it again. The company, as if it's a proper noun. You're mimicking the employees, aren't you? So, it can't obey simple orders, but it can pick up on that. Is it just part of corporate culture? Noble's one of the biggest corporations there is. One of the biggest there's ever been. Yeah, it doesn't advance unless you find everything or you press advance yourself. Yeah. I watched that the last couple times, but I'm worried since there's only 3 things. It felt weird. Hi, London. Hello, Detective London. I like to imagine that he can see it, and it's like I'm waging psychological warfare on him. We mere humans can't hope to escape the gravity of anything that size, so no matter where you live or how far off the grid you think you are, so imagine what it's like working for them. I love the sprite. Oh. You live in company dorms, work in company quarters. Wherever you go, the logo's above your head. You eat, sleep, and breathe on Noble's timetable at its discretion. When you spend your whole life inside of it, Noble must feel big enough to be the only company there is. Whoever comes to greet us better have a pulse and some goddamn authority. My mood's starting to sour, and if they just send me the first link in their infinite chain of corporate bureaucracy, I'll make them wish. Morgan? Oh. Oh. Wait, I kind of like him. Oh my goodness, wait, I kind of like this guy. I like the orange. I'm the orange guy, so I'm a fan of that. Hey there, Android Manufacturing Quality Control Eastern Division. Evan Dawes. Evan Dawes. He says like it's an afterthought. What's a name compared to your place in the hierarchy? You seem familiar. Have you? I'm David's lawyer. Oh, then we must have. Apologies. Let me first just say how sorry I am about his passing. You and everyone else at the company must be going through a lot right now. Sorry, we have to look at his profile. Dawes. Chief Supervisor, Android Manufacturing, Quality Control. He likes hammocks, calligraphy, pale ale, dislikes first dates, conference calls, and 5 o'clock shadows. Proud of his practice handshakes, struggles with solving captures, and his hair is starting to gray. I like him. Oh. Oh. I do like that Noble is blue and orange. Me too. It's one of my my favorite little color combos. I'm crazy about it. That and like orange and purple maybe? As if it's a proper noun. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. You're welcome, but it's no big deal. Everyone's on the razor today, but what else is new? And compared to PR or legal right now, our workloads and QA are... Never mind, how can I assist you? Shortly before his passing, Dr. Asher began the process of registering this android. Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the job. Look at that. It's definitely custom. Gee, you think? Good thing I sought out an expert! Warm. It goes without saying. It reminds me of the A16 Premiere, if anything. The barcode is clearly printed, no visible defects. But you're right, it doesn't correspond to anything we got on file. Well, they sent you to the right man for the job, now we just need to go to the right place. Not far, I hope? It's in the building. In the building. That could mean anything from down the hall to half a day's hike. The production line on B9 should have everything we need. You do manufacturing inside your corporate headquarters? B9's a fully functional production floor, but it was only built for demonstrative purposes. New clients make deals upstairs about how many and in what shape and size, and they come down to the basement to see how the sausage is made. They have enough money to build a fake factory just for guests. Smart! So long as you're only giving tours and not giving away company secrets. No need to worry about that. We take intellectual security very seriously around here. No kidding. There are 11 cameras on us just at this moment that I can see, and who knows how many pairs of monitor eyes are aimed our way. Clearly nothing happens here without the almighty company knowing about it, so if they try to claim ignorance about anything, it's gonna piss me off. I'm grinning so big. Lead the way. Alright. Oh wow. It really is fully furnished down here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's pretty rare to to get to see this all in person, you know? Would you mind terribly if I looked around for a moment? No problem. I got some prelim paperwork I need to handle anyway, so have at it. I better take full advantage. I'll need more than just curiosity knowledge if I want to figure out where Sarah came from and why David wanted me to take custody. I'm gonna look around. You stay put in the meantime. Adonai? Wouldn't want to lose you amongst the rest of the merchandise. I love Sarah. Poor Sarah. My god. Okay, we got a lot to work with this time, I think. Yay. Oh, yay, we can do some reading. What do we got on this data pad? Some kind of write-up? On the subject of Sullivan's Peak, much of our world today, and in fact, much of our world's economy, is heavily influenced by the uncanny valley. The thought experiment provides a simple and easily applied explanation for the gaps you see in otherwise a wide spectrum of automated dependence that assist us in nearly every industry on the planet. Sarah is stronger than any U.S. Marine. This is true. There's a very simple primal truth to it. We like things that resemble the living, like cartoons and puppets and toys, and we like things that are damn near indistinguishable from the living, like whatever name Noble's latest products are being sold under. But there are deep trenches between those two ends, where products are universally appalling to human sensibility. The Uncanny Valley will no doubt remain a useful tool for teaching, marketing, and design for generations to come, but we already are seeing ways in which it fails. It is becoming increasingly clear to us that the space between nearly indistinguishable and truly indistinguishable is much wider than we ever suspected, and it may not be the only part of the map that we must fear. I propose we bridge these gaps in knowledge by looking to the speculative fiction of Robert J. Sullivan, whose who, in his most well-known work, Equal Under One Sky, described a concept which thereafter has been called Sullivan's Peak. Through the lens of his characters in their very divided world, Sullivan demonstrated that the Uncanny Valley does in fact have its own peak, and on the other side, a point past which making an artificial existence any more human in its features serves to only make the user experience more uncomfortable, more difficult, and more fraught with moral pitfalls. Once you reach Sullivan's Peak, traveling any further only has diminishing returns. The implications of this idea are far-reaching, and we will very soon reach a point where the designers of ads can only make their creations less lifelike or less likable, a hard stopping point for technological process. What then, we must ask? Oh, looks like you forgot to sign on this device. Drop your thumbprint below and we'll get you squared away so you can keep reading. I can't believe this data pad is Midwestern. Surprised to find a reading material like that around here. Were they passing it around as a gag? Or they are actually afraid of Sullivan's Peak around here? Noble must be... Ooh, that's a good question. That is a great question. I would assume wary of it. They take everything very seriously. If the peak does exist, they'll be coming up on it fast now that the androids are warm. Noble's entire product line, maybe their entire industry, could go bottoms up if people start to think it's cruel. Hell yeah, we got it! We got it! If Sarah's sending an indication of where androids are headed, I could see some people getting uncomfortable. Hell yeah. Let's watch this thing. What's being built up there? Our top of the line brand new bestsellers, the Animate 16 Warm. It looks kind of cold out there. We keep the factory full refrigerated. Slows the organics already tuned metabolic activity to a minimum. That explains why the room doesn't smell like rotting flesh. The flesh out there is only somewhat rotting. Slowly. I just meant I'm surprised to see metal. Oh, well, all the A16s have alloy in their skeletons. The organics are layered on later in the process. Sounds like what Sarah told me about herself. Maybe she really was the A16's prototype. But it's hard to imagine bridging the gap between her and these scattered doll parts. I get that you can just grow just about anything from lax Gemini, but how do you get the synthetic and organic to work together? Yeah, that was our first concern when R&D began working on the Warm concept. The 1.0s were real skin with synthetic muscle. And it was a horror show. Middle pulling on skin was just right. For 2.0, they worked backwards. Organic muscles, organic skin, but digital signals on organic hardware was a dead end. Didn't the muscles flex when you passed an electronic current through them? They'd flex and unflex, sure, but that's not nearly precise enough for any facial expressions. Looked like puppets strung up on live wires. We used the test footage to haze interns, actually. That's so mean, I love it. You must have figured out something. You must have figured something out. The A16 wouldn't look out of place on the runway. Thank you, we try. I like that spray, that poor guy. We ended up reaching out to mod companies. Well, we actually just bought out half a dozen of them, but... Right. They figured out how to get human nervous systems moving in mechanical limbs decades ago, so we just needed to get a mechanical nervous system to move. Living limbs. Very clumsy attempt to avoid using the word human. High precision mods are slotted straight into the nervous system, and they receive their input from neurotransmitters, not by electricity. So you had to do the opposite. Exactly, we created a synthetic neurotransmitter that our androids could use to communicate with organic flesh. Where did that breakthrough come from? Dr. Asher? Partly? Oh. He led the team that built the motor neurons in this analogy. They carry commands from the central nervous OS to the individual muscles across the chassis. But the synthetic analog serotonin. That was actually an old brainchild from the VP of Futures, Helen Young. David hasn't mentioned to Dr. Young before. Sounds impressive. She's one hell of a biochemist. Or she was, I guess. Not much time for individual lab work when you get to her kind of pay grade. So Young collaborated with David on the technology that enabled warm androids. As I thought, whatever went with Sarah, that makes the android so distinct. He couldn't have taken sole credit for it. Young, did he partner with her on this? That's a great question. DAWs, the inhalers, they're distributed by the company, correct? Oh, yeah, HR handles it. They personalize your dosage and prescription and update it based on performance and job fulfillment reviews. Other corporations do it the same way? Yeah, pretty much. Everyone's trying to keep pace with each other, so can't have your employees losing focus on the job. Could cost you who knows how much in lost efficiency. Sorry if this is insensitive, but given what happened to David, are overdoses common in the company? Yeah. Yeah, he says. Overdoses, that is, not hospitalization. Deaths, it's all pretty organized these days. These days? Man, back when I started in consulting, pretty much everyone had an embarrassing story from their first 2 years where they popped a few too many greens and missed the on-ramp. Popped greens? Yeah, it used to be pills. Green to get you going, yellow to get you there, swallowed a red after brushing your teeth to get into your bunk fast. But yeah, the inhalers are a huge improvement, like going from torches to the light bulb. They sync straight to your personal biomes and adjust the dosage in real time. Overdoses are way down. That's great to hear. The trainees under me don't realize how good they got it. Kids probably won't even know how to learn won't even have to learn how to purge. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I figured. That's our Sullivan's Peak. Oh, there's something out there that caught my eye when I came in. A very familiar shade of crimson. If I squint through the glass, out there on the floor is temperature-controlled fluid tanks. Through the glass, the plastic flows an eye-catching scarlet that transforms into a... So you add the blood towards the end? You mean the oxidant? Yeah, relatively late in the process. Is something out of place? Androids have blood even if it's not officially labeled as such, but it isn't red, it's pink. Sometimes milky, sometimes neon, occasionally garish, but pink. I just didn't think the oxidant would be red. Oh, right, sorry, I barely even notice it at this point. The color's natural, it comes from the biomanufacturing process. That chromophage there removes the byproducts, the waste, the excess pigment, changing it from blood red to psychopop pink. He's a little fucked up, but I quite like him. I like him too. I'm interested in him. You got some problems, sir, and I kinda like this. Oh, it's in evidence. Oh, that's not good. Did it- Oh no, did they have an android kill David? Or is an android closely related to the case? I'm worried about that. I'm worried that I can put in the evidence. Oh no. Ooh boy. Without that chromophage, our android's flesh would come out looking all the wrong colors. He's cute. That may be true. It probably isn't, but it may be. But I have a simpler explanation. Blood is primal. The side of it carries weight. They change the color of the product's blood so that when an android gets a bottle broken against its face, no one bats an eye. Yeah. Ooh. This seems to share some components with that coffin that Sarah is sleeping in. If Dawes does quality assurance, is it some kind of android calibration device? It's probably what he'll use to register Sarah. Looks a little... Is Sarah tall enough for it to recognize her? That's a good question. Feels like I've seen this before. That's right, there was one in David's lab. That's a nanograde elementary manufacturer for short. Real high quality piece of machinery, each of them built in-house by Randock Mechanics. What does it do? Nano level flash lab. Basically a 3D printer for nanomachines. You build nanomachines in your factories for use in your androids. The raw materials are cheap, literally elementary, so no sense in getting them shipped in. It's mostly the medical models that make use of them. Inject a couple thousand nanites into a patient's bloodstream, run diagnostics, and provide a solution. A 3D printer for nanomachines. So what kind of ink does it use? Silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon building blocks. They feed it into the nanoprinter and it assembles the machine's particle by particle. Like a ribosome building structurally complex proteins out of chemically simple amino acids. Must be time consuming. You would think, but Randock cracked the code on the parallel microfactoring. The inside's crystalline, sprawling like an ant's nest. Raw materials enter at one of thousands of different entry points, combining and recombining at intersections. The finished product ends up at the center and drips out in a liquid solution. Distilled nectar, swimming with millions of nanites in just 2 minutes. Nectar. It's sticky. It can be, depending on the desired output, but the door vacuum seals while it's cooking, so don't worry. It's completely spill-proof. I like him. Oh, this poor guy. What a relief. Not exactly a box of paper clips David could just have brought from home from the office one day. He must have bought it on his own. For some reason. Alright. Flash fabric. Oh, flash fab is flash fabrication. Okay, I figured. Awesome. Okay, well, this is just probably evidence for Sarah-related stuff. I like that Sarah's eyes will glow. All done? You ready to get the ad handled? Oh my god. Thanks for humoring me. Can you just have it step into the scanner? As he says. Understood. Oh. Right then. What are we looking at here? Whoa. There's a lot to unpack here. We theorized that it may have been Asher's pincushion. A pincushion, huh? That would explain some of what I'm reading here. What language is that on the screen? Tess. You know, Tesseract. All mobile productions and, well, pretty much all productions, period, are programmed to Tess. Easy to read, easy to write, stay compliant. Now this model, what's it go by? Sarah. This Sarah model. It's got everything the 16th line has, that's for sure. Organic skin, hybrid muscles, advanced facial processing and emoting. But there's a lot crammed in here that's still in development, like in the ideas phases. Solar cell hair strands, decentralized redundant power, mental and physical overclocking with extended tolerances, data storage so large I can't. No. Wow. He had to measure it using a hell of a poker face. Wait. Decryption and signal hijacking? That's hacking. Essentially. Does that mean it could hack its own tenants? Oh no, that's unthinkable. Literally, for an ad. For an ad to break its tenants, it would be like you stepping into traffic or dropping a baby. Even if you're physically capable of it, it's not something you would ever choose to do. Some people do walk into traffic. Psychotics, addicts, the mentally ill. Does that mean there are androids? Well, no, there aren't crazy androids, so yeah. I guess my analogy doesn't hold up. My proud android daughter that I love. Real? I'm so excited. Terms, Tesseract. Okay, yep. I see. Tenants or the tenant. Okay, tenant super system. Okay, yeah, the one tenant that cannot be removed is literally like the first law of robotics. I get it. Okay. I see. I'm looking at his profile again. I like his face. That's okay. So it can't hack itself, but it was given the ability to hack other systems. The industry line is that such capacity could be an option in certain emergency scenarios, breaking through firewalls and encryption of surrounding electronics to broadcast directly to police and military channels. Speaking of the military, the musculoskeletal setup is drastic. I've never seen this on a consumer model. Can you lift a car or something, Sarah? Most cars. That would depend on the center of gravity. Lady, this Sarah could wrestle a public disturbance walker and come out on top. Those stomping behemoths they bring out for riot suppression. And in terms of compunctional ability, the estimate says that can't be right. Look at DAWs. I was actually hoping you could tell me something about the software on or the metadata. Who worked on it and when? Right, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. The editing logs have been purged. That doesn't sound very above the board. Sorry, I can't tell you anything about who worked on Sarah or when. Any chance you can restore those logs? Not here. Not with this machine. I'd need the computers that were actually used for programming this model. Any ideas where those would be? Sarah? I cannot answer that question with any accuracy. Had a feeling you might say that. Ads, right? Sorry, I can tell you that the code is unique. There's hints of the A16 in there, a few of the same conclusions. It's just Dr. Asher or whoever took very different paths to get there. So Sarah has even less common with every android on the inside? Sorry, I didn't expect to hit a dead end here. Not at all, you've been very helpful. Can we still get the registration done? Yeah, no problem, we got the software forms all set up here. Occasionally we let a new business partner bring one home fresh in the oven, you know? Oven. Gross. Alright, a few basic questions then. Who's going to be the official owner of this unit? She is. As it says, unless the will disagrees, it's my responsibility. Right then. You find the designation Sarah. You can set it to anything you like. Well, actually... never mind. Sarah will do fine. Okay, this part's all standard. Civilian model, address, contact info I can get from your crumbs. Do you want to reset the two factory defaults? Could clear up a lot of quirks. Not right now. Why would you say that about my daughter? The last thing then is the grading. I'm reading 23 tenets here, nothing too far out of the ordinary. 23? That's higher than I expected, talking with it. She seemed more malleable than that. Don't blame yourself. Guessing tenant count from outward appearances has been a crapshoot. It's not like it used to be. Used to be that they only had 3 tenants total, and every unit had to have them. Then came the first accidents, and then the first lawsuits, and then the hearings and the legislator. And the demand for more tenants. A tenant making sure ads couldn't endanger the state. A tenant stating that ads wouldn't divulge private information without prior consent. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to weigh child and adult lives equally during risk assessment. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to do the opposite. Wow. It works. She's flawless. True. And that is my beautiful daughter that can rip a man in half. Companies wanted their asses covered. Customers wanted guarantees. There was never much incentive to deny our requested tenants, so the list just ballooned. Until the military entered the market in full force. You sound like you don't approve. I wouldn't go that far. They needed their ads to be able to pull the trigger when ordered to without clearing 5,000 lines of bloated, hard-coded decision points to get there. I get that. But since the Army's the only one using tech with bare minimum tenants, all the best, least cluttered, most elegant code is only used for war games. It's not very romantic. Well, not like I was on the jury. Department of Advanced Projects versus the Dynamics. The Supreme Court sided with the military's request and set a new precedent that every other army around the world would race to meet, changing tenants from a mandated list at the root of every ad source to a choose-your-own checklist. It's funny. Ads with the most tenants, they're so locked up that you can't even have a conversation with them. And outside the armed forces, the only ads with single-digit tenant counts are just vacuuming floors. The most impressive ones, like what you've got here, fall somewhere in the middle. Sorry. Went on a tangent there. Only thing left is the evaluation. What gets evaluated? Total financial worth for insurance purposes. Yeah, the insurance companies made sure we had every accurate algorithm. Had very accurate algorithms for this. No room for human error, they insisted, with no sense of irony. Wow. I mean, I knew it was custom, but what price could they have possibly... That's a lot of digits. You should know these formulas are pretty conservative with their estimates. Stingy, even. If Sarah's really David's last and greatest work, they say some things are priceless, but when you force an insurance algorithm to pick a number... Totals to a very large sum. Yikes. We're so fucked. Try not to get any scratches on it, I guess. You spoke differently back there. With Dawes. You spoke like he did, it seemed. Like I copied his accent. You seemed to mirror his effect, his tone. It's called being friendly. What's your point? It was just an observation. You can choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required. I love her pout. Oh. Why were you so concerned about registering me in the first place, Adonai? For the same reason I wouldn't drive around in a car without a license plate. Any cop or even just a well-placed camera could have spotted your barcode and seen it wasn't set up with any actual data. And then they would have had me arrested and they would have thrown me in the slammer. No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker. And an android can't get arrested? People get arrested. Property gets seized. And then smashed. Great. You put us over the weight limit. I did no such... Morgan Counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Who's asking? Vice President of... Ooh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Young. Should have assumed I still had the opening. I shouldn't have assumed I still had the opening move. Tell her I'll be right up. I'll redirect your elevator now. Taking control of your elevator is very convenient, forceful. As if Noble is trying to directly steer your investigation. If Noble wanted to shut me down, they wouldn't have bothered to be subtle. I suppose they could have simply refused to cooperate. Or just let the elevator drop. Yeah, that's true. Alright, almost 4 p.m. Noble Electronics, Northeastern HQ, Executive Office. Yikes. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, hello. Ooh. Oh my god, it's orange. Right. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? And here I thought I could avoid wading into the swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics. I'm kind of a jerk. Silence is only awkward if you care. I can ignore social cues all day long. Hell yeah. Up top. The Morgan. Hi, Nate. Good morning. How are you doing? I always liked this time of day. Not too muggy for you? No, I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me. You're in luck. The sky gets more colorful every year. And it's the air color. You're doing good? Good. I like her. As the air quality drops? Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of a rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here. Dr. Young. Just Miss is fine. Miss Young. I get the feeling that you didn't bring me up here just to talk about the weather. Alright, let's take a peek. VP of Android Features at Noble Electronics. She likes red meat, flower gardens, high thread counts. Dislikes working from home, shopping online, and waiting. Languages fluent in 3. Enjoys attending baseball games. Hidden talent, getting children to stop crying. Aww. Wait, that's kind of cute. I know she's probably, like, super evil. She's the VP, but, like, of an evil company. But whatever. No, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you, though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years. Yes, we did, but as much as I'd like you to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't start. I misread that one. As much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone. Was Dawes of any help? She sent him? Trying to be helpful or just trying to control the narrative? He was great, but that must mean you know why I'm here. I don't want to make any assumptions. No need, I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over, and every person I speak to. Yes, the lawyers made that very clear. Lawyers? You have an android. It's not one of ours. You can tell that quickly. Got the faces all memorized. She is very stylish, my goodness. It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes? If you're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. One of David's last requests, apparently. David asked you to take it? I like this face. I've been told that you've been to David's estate already. The police gave me full access to the scene. Then you would know that he wasn't alone last night. Was she the guest? Oh no. Yes, there was a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted. I was that witness. Really? Obviously. There aren't that many people who David would bother meeting with in person, let alone walking them into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Young was his superior on paper, though not in fame, and I knew that witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation? Yikes. Okay, they did update that then. Of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak. I can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you were well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers are painstakingly... Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind? Eventually, you or some other clever lawyer like you would get the record open, through legal means or otherwise. The company's enemies are a legion, and they have a prying knife for every occasion. Still, that would have taken time. Time you could use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen. Touché. And so perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well. You're doing it for my sake. No, my reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job it isn't to defend me from all consequences might prove therapeutic. If she wanted to play confessional, that's fine by me. But is that really all that's going on here? Why don't you start from the beginning then? You went to his home last night? Yes, around 7:30 p.m. The building's penumbra captured all of that quite clearly. He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call in person? We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked. About the good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves. How long ago was that? 7 or 8 years ago now? Miss Young? Putting a number on it, it doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp, and I never would have thought that a few minutes later that he would be dead. That he would commit suicide in front of me. A firm reply. What happened? 8:15, he said he wanted to toast. He got up, walked back into his workshop, and he must have went down to his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime, enjoyed the view. In other words, she stayed on camera. He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. We drank, we talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. Didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep. He tried to wake him. He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system. Didn't think to use your phone. No, I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. The Penumbra's emergency protocol summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with 1 button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor as delicately as I could. And he had a heartbeat, but I just did what I could until they arrived. You went with them to the hospital, I take it? Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a talk screen, which came back clean. So did David's, for all the good it did him. I wasn't paying any close attention to what they were saying at that point, but I'm sure they ran through every step of it on the the CCE SOP. That's what they're paid to do. You seem certain that it was suicide. Yes. Why? As I said, he got quieter as time passed, and he spoke less. But the last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. Said that he was content. And he downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Asher to you? Curious, restless, perfectionist David? No, I guess it doesn't. Yikes. Alright, time to get scared. Get scared, get scared! Oh boy. Man. I need a second to breathe. I'm scared! The worms! The worms! Okay. Sorry, I like her. I like Emma. Man. Alright. CCE. You said CCC in our operating procedure as a moment ago. What is that? CCC stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense. You understand? So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned. They give us all kind of CCE training. Subtly, of course, usually disguised on the itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. They trained you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops. Murder is fairly rare rate at our level. More likely they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain the company resources in a hospital bed with our position seats vacant. That's smart. Like, snipers purposely avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's terrible! Like, snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an acid. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady, or become our mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks. That's a nasty piece of work. Poor Sarah. It's a nasty line of work. Consulting. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. Ooh! So Dawes is a corporate spy? Oh? So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say they were consultants? Or did they just say they were in consulting? How the hell am I supposed to remember? So do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get David for years, and that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming, and they probably would have struck first. I kind of want to... Oh my god. Yeah. We all know that I'm an OC guy. I can't wait for my eventual of the devil OC. We know how crazy I am. Alright, we got the cups. I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. Aww. David and I got hired around the same time under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either, back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. The two of them made that one-point doctrine? That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. And come to think of it, it's not a story I ever heard from David himself. We had this deadline, self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of the international sales by the end of the day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams of sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer, trying to make a sales pitch. Clock hits 9 and even the zombies start heading home. I turn to David and tell him that it's not going to happen. We're nowhere near finished and the day's long since it's been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat and I've just stopped pitching water. And he says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of the day." We wrapped up at 4 in the morning, just us and the cleaning staff. Back then only half of them were ads. He finally sends the message and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day, and we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before, ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, and put together, David and I, we had finally gotten a win. So David asks if I got anything to drink. I've got a bottle and some swill in my cabinet at my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle. He says he wants the toast. Oh, they're so cute. I hate everything. This sucks. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to each other in cups we grabbed from the break room. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor, that was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us. You can hide the UI if you want to for those scenes. Oh. I just genuinely want the picture. I forgot I can do that. Oopsie. Oh well. I just generally want the picture. And I can also find them on the internet or in other options, I believe. History with Noble. As the VP of Android Features, you're David's superior, aren't you? That's correct. Didn't you join the company around the same time? David was always more interested in his work than he was climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game. So he was unpopular around here. Not unpopular, no. Not the great David Asher. Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps. How so? He could be blunt. Demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just... Not everyone could work at the same pace he did. Not for as long as he did. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I don't see any at Young's desk. Maybe it's not something you just leave out in the open at her level. So you would say his work-life balance was... Balance implies that the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company. Fascinating. So was he in harmony? No. David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject. Right. What do you mean? I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings. Scandalous. Animate 16. The A16 only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-order started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warren Androids. I played my part, supervising the launch. Yes. Weren't you the one who designed serotonin, the factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts? I'm surprised you heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, serotonin was more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Oh yay, 30 stream streak! Oh Jesus Christ, thank you, Nate. My god. Much appreciated. Took the reins. He was the lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expression, exhaustive parameters. He designed the synthetic nerves that made all of it possible. David did all of that? That's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles in on the A14 or A16? 15? No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as software architect, but that was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments and taking notes. Soon he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually they came to follow his lead. Just like that. Just like that. So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments. That's the kind of genius David Asher was. Maybe they weren't paying him enough. The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years. I hate that. The music stopped like that. I know it was stopping, but that's scary. So this android, Sarah, even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from. It's not in any of our systems. I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project? Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself, and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him any advice. He never mentioned me. No, never. Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requestioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card. The company's accountants are mirthless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody, not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough that you could hear it from the mailroom. You have a mailroom? Not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech. He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record, but no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself. I don't understand. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal, except the hacking stuff, so why keep it a secret? I don't know. But he was private, and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. A message from Fran. I'm running out of leads to chase. The brat better have good news. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. Hey, Brave Doodle! How are you doing? And this is what you believe, that he didn't commit suicide. I guess I haven't decided what to believe. My god. Alright, that... Ate some leftover pizza for lunch. Yum. I ate leftover pizza for lunch yesterday. I kinda want more. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking. Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like... Oh my god, I love her. Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are... out of shape? She's a smoker! Leave her be! No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself, mentally, for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention that we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? I love her so much. The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. Maybe if you were a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circle, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or jazz club. The champagne flute and the teacup kind of musician. But this is a tequila and neon part of town. Ooh! David, what were you up to? It should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray, and it's bearing its fangs too. It could be carrying diseases. You should relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? so it's just me that it doesn't like too much static. How did you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. But, you notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation. God, I love her. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today, I've rarely been addressed directly by people other than you. In other words, you're shy. That's not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. Oh, so excited for this next character as well. Oh, yay! Ultraviolets. Ooh, I see, I see. Now, it's time to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran seems to claim. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man who you never met? I think he was close with him, yeah, at some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? I was gonna ask. That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? I don't know, it's only... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Did you catch the killer yet? No. What the heck? I sent you his POS. I'm at his position. I was reading that as piece of shit. Not position. I haven't spoke to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Asher started working out in a cube. So, in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand, or something. You know that lit homework can help you with farming analogies. Eat this analogy. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. I think I take it Cube is a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on the fat libraries of references to lean on. To be fair, it is Fran. I love Fran. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Cube. You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and like machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines, under the ocean, middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. How rugged? Where'd Asher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. Well, let's ignore the person. Cube. Tier 5 programming language. man. That's crazy. We're gonna take like a 2-minute break. I'm filling up my water so I don't die. I'm so... Ugh. I'll just run as because it's been an hour. So people don't get stuck with pre-rolls. We're just gonna put that there so people know. Okay, be right back. Okay, yay. Oh, they're killing me. I think everything's back. I also turned on my mic. We're all good in that regard. Alright, let's look at the stage. The stage for the talent. Pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Sorry. Oh man. Okay. Everyone's more or less on equal footing, dancing in the dark once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because he found the walk so challenging. Because it's too loud to relax, and not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite. I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. I like her! Is that just for you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids, I can't speak for them. Wonder what they say. If they're smart, they'd say that music peaked with early 21st century punk rock. Real as fuck. Debate settled. She's so real. bar stocked with colorful selections and busy. A bar stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste and the gap between chewing and swallowing. So, can you, like, eat things? Or you can, like, eat things. Yes, I can. What? What? Like android food? There's no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble's warming models clarify they don't eat anything in a traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and their energy bars and charger separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electronic charging long-term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it is not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef? Never hydroponic avocados? Foie gras? That sort of thing. Jesus Christ, you're spoiled. Oh my god. Okay. Exclusively from farms using natural sunlight. That's scary. I am not paying for any of that. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything else in here besides to talk to this person who might be Isaac. That one over there. He matches the photo Fran sent. Should I approach now or look around some more? No, we have to look around more. I got the option. I gotta double check. Do my lifeguard. Oh, yep, there it goes. Haha! What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? A tabloid review? Ugh. I guess so. Wow. Alright. You heard the name on everyone's lips. You've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and then he double-checked to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Now, get all your burning questions about her answered here in this exclusive interview with the mysterious young woman who's being called, and perhaps the only truly unanimous vote the net's ever seen, the most beautiful woman in the world. Why the name? People think it's just an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked back when I was grassroots. Then it was a pseudonym to give a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand, and I can't change it without setting the stock market into a spin. So, you're certainly influential after partnering with you. You're certainly influential. After partnering with you, NC saw a 3,000% increase in share price. Yay! I'm happy for them, of course, but to be honest, it's a pain in the ass like this. She gestures towards her clothes, a plain white t-shirt and gym shorts, with no branding visible. On anyone else, it might seem sloppy or unflattering on her. But on her, it only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. Who are you wearing, by the way? Can't wear anyone unless I'm intending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Does it stress you? All that attention? Stress is bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you like to share? Be a little bratty. Act a little spoiled. Keeps you young. How old are you exactly? Everyone's dying to know. 18 to 19? Now 18 to 29. Now and forever. Time's running out! Good for her. However old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for her business. And my dears are more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's... Well, that's a good question. I feel like she's powerful. Yay. Some rises are too meteoric for even the Megs to grab their Amazon. At this point, Luxury's got them at her mercy. She can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Good for her. I like that. Good for her. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh my god. Oh. Sorry, I got scared. Okay, yeah, that's him alright. Looks like he's killing time for his sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? Yeah! I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, oh, let's play it cool. He's real beautiful. We gotta be cool about it. What the hell, David? David can pull. Or maybe this guy can pull David. Hey, some sick beats out there on the floor, right? A sick beat? Oh, wait, that was her. I misread. Oopsie. I got scared. I'm scared! Ah! Sick beats. Yeah, or whatever, man. Fuck, it's so over. Dude. I didn't think that would happen! We're not doing that. Play it straight, baby. Isaac Porter? What's up? My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Were you a friend from work? No. Over here. Oh wow, that works so much better. We didn't lose anything. Oh. Musician. A bassist. God damn it. Yeah, Morgan is not cool. I was trying to see if she would do any better. I didn't think she would. I was just so nervous that I clicked the first option. Dislikes resistant training, produces and ads. Okay, good thing we sent her back. Likes itineraries, grilling, and champagne. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here and shut my mouth and stick you with my tab. So what kind of— oh, it's always the bassist. Get me out of here! So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm his friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac, it's pretty obvious you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah? Yes, Adonai? Hey. Blah, blah, blah. The hell is that thing transmitting? I am not streaming any data, no. Porter does not seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two work together, is that correct? Oh. We were together. I ended it yesterday. Care to elaborate on our entire relationship? What the hell, David? What did you do? You fumbled. Look, you can tell me everything once, and I can get it on record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else, each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. It ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat into the table for 2 hours. His dates would go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes, and he'd sit there, still sit there for the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been cancelled and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he insisted on coming there night after night, just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music. We ah! Oh my god. Oh. Come on, David. David, how did you fuck this up? Ugh. I mean, I know how. Let me look at David. Man, that ticked me off. It was cute early on, him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until. There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point I started to understand where his priorities were and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I would just wrongly assume that he would also be passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he noticed, if he missed me. Testing him, like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset, just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights not giving a shit when people walked away, and I had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night, I called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything to prepare to leave a message with an assistant or an ad or whatever, but he answered, first ring, without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness, and that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized, and then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Oof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life with so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now, you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who set David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline or straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all of the facts. And you do? Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thank you for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable, so it pained me to tell you that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think... What the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first, butcher them before shooting them back out? I was not trade on any data sets that... Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. I understand where he's coming from everything, but it ain't Sarah's fault. What the hell was that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model, an early 21st century. Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I wanted to... I just felt like I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from people... They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't actually have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. Yep, Noble Employee Housing. We're going back, baby. Back to the basement. Okay, I thought we were like gonna take a look at the rest of his house, maybe. I see. The basement. You sure you don't want to have another look at the crime scene? Yeah. I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from another angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen many mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now where did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds, and if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands. She's awesome. God, I love these two. I feel so bad for Porter. I like Isaac. I'm really into this guy. Oh no. I like this guy a lot. Oh my god. They're blowing me up. Smithereens, they said. To shreds, you say? God, he is so cool. It's so true. Oh boy. Okay. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right? And an airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area, and no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Young's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive. Young was drinking from the same bottle, in the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical. And consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0. David left the parlor and came back with whiskey in 2 cups. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude then he got them both from this bar. Better. 5 points. Very cute. God, I love her. Did he also get poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARC files, they didn't find anything that matches the poison down here. So the poison went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something like 360 degrees, you're just back to... If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get the liquor from this bar. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime. proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. What do you mean? This whole building is coded head to toe in Penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor. It's all plugged into Penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it that much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. I mean, signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can, now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purpose of record keeping? Yes. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in this room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. What are they feeding it to, if not the Penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have hidden a system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me! He was brilliant and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see. I think? I don't. What the hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... Time's short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. Man. I'm getting real scared. Oh, man. I don't know what we're gonna find on those cameras, but I'm worried. You can look over things again. What did David even do with all his equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David could not have put numbers up like this even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story based on the primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of the world-class professional rugby player enters a global bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a vomited suitcase and that he wants the gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings. The man suddenly catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller only had this to say: "That man was all muscle." The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene when suddenly the suitcase explodes. But it's just a smoke screen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the doors. Grabbing each of the hostages, they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist trained hypnotist Werner Kurtzer wrote in his following diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right. The man had a split personality, and so great that the disparity between his two halves were that when they switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. That's not how it works. That's not how that works. This is all eyewitness accounts. I feel like this is a bit. This bit is a reference I don't get. Probably. Or, I don't know, quoting some insane history. I don't remember. I wouldn't know. But that's not how it works, if it's historical anyway. Sarah, every word you just said was false. Oh, was that from a movie? Don't believe everything you read on the net. That's really funny. Oh no. Oh. Poor girl. Okay. Taking the painting again. So that is that the original? It was surprising for it to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting. Or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces in nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Be nice. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have— Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a little worse than I expected. Cheer up. Maybe they'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder. A kind of step ladder. Not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. And? It's important to know the distinction. I bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again ever. Watch it come up again. Oh my god. That's really funny. Oh. Is there something else that I'm missing? Oh yes, the crack on the floor again. Okay, yeah. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before. Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. How? Did David drop a weight a bunch of times over in the exact same spot? Are you a ladder or step ladder person? Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially, the bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. Got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It is a healthy basic structure. Yeah. That anti-hack feature in the name is real? It's a closed system, I don't know. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father adjusted the settings here, he made it so the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. And he made it so that if I was the only one who could wake her up, meaning this is a door that only I can open, it'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolves around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that only I could learn? Is it just Morgan? Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there some word only the two of you knew? A nickname? Pretty much everyone calls me Morgan, but not everyone. That is an Ace Attorney bit. Oh, I'm stupid. I should know. Oh, is she just gonna do? Wait, no, I could spell. I could spell. Ah, I forgot. Yes, they're in. Aha! It's opening! Was that the password anyway? You'd never guess. I had a feeling. Ooh! Did feel a bit out of a character. David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech, and I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints, so when Nebula built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped into the mix and it's remained in their blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visual sound sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particles. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me. It's almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. David set a password on his PC after all that. I'm going back into the morgue to have a word with him. Good, it's already signed in. That's awesome! Oh, you're looking for camera footage. I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for the video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted in short range for short range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly irregular intervals, once a week it seems. The most recent video file has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so only the person who could get in here at that time was David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course. It's just that I am having difficulty. Try double clicking. God, I love them. I have been trying to open the files from the moment I've discovered them, hadn't I? But they are encrypted. Damn it, David! You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have the back door I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files. There's no one alive who could. Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I would estimate about 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. Ooh. Oh? Sorry, my chair is so loud. I'm scooting up. No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, so as long as the work required is rote. By the way, congrats on the door code. That took me embarrassingly long. Oh, it's okay. Well, I was just lucky, I think. Because I remembered her talking about some joke or reference. But that was last week, so... Yay. So, you're doing it in the back of your head. Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take the show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and we will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. Cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds of holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front, and in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it and illegally use even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Ooh! Hold this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It certainly is heavy. Is there anything in there? expecting an updated copy of his will to show up. It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in an old, corny murder mystery. A wildly beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries. There is something else. Your papers. Oh! It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made his mind up about all of this? Why do you hide this where no one else can find it? Was that just a backup plan? That's scary. Yup. Tax-free. Yay! Well, at least I got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word for now. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. Aww. Yaww. As a collector's item. We have yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could easily have argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings, unless I had something like this. It's good that you do, then. I'm glad Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This will give me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority. There is an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating, but I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. We're so fucked. Oh man. Bro. Sorry, I'm getting messages I have to check. Okay. Alright, I'm really scared. You cannot load saves during the trials. Yes, I remember. I'm deeply afraid. We're gonna be extra careful. Does it excite you, going into courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is gonna be like some kind of movie where like good guys save the day? Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were. What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking. Though he was really the one who suggested it, so you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forgot what I was talking to. I like the performances. Sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something. He's a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides Father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net and I watch people and what they share of their lives. But it's all so subtle and hard, so hard to follow. I only say this because I totally forgot and saved it for the one I made before the trial began. Oops. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're all so complex, so detailed. But the characters on the screen are exaggerated, larger than life. Damn, they gave my android autism. I can say that I'm autistic, but I forgot to mention that. It is very obvious. I can say that. I like her. I can relate. It's not funny. It's not funny. Okay. The actors enunciate. Their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's fiction, so these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure, back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. Ugh. We're so fucked. Floor 48, good lord, they had us climbing. Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse, though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers, all-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper-pushing queues, with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. I didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain, loudly of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that. I guess I don't plan to. Why? It must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah insists that David would never commit suicide, and I actually haven't stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom, prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state, because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I'm making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it would be difficult to summarize that progress in terms of completion percent. Give it your best shot anyway. 4%. Jesus Christ. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly less so after hearing that. Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge where we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Adjutants are always coin flips, so... You do know what an adjutant is, don't you? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe and a gavel when we get in here? Oh my god! The old man from Ace Attorney! God, I'm scared. Ugh. Should I not? Adjutants are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails. I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases at the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. Scary. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So, androids are used to reduce caseload. Been that way for decades. But how was that a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions stalling? Judges did fight it for years, at every level, and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board. And so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants. And it's not controversial, having machines determine sentencing for human beings. Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, used to be that even the most high-profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted within a single business week. And that's not rushing things. Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick enough succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjuvants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And the answer is, that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want their courts to be just as possible? If adjutants are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure. But there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about, what all their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't do find disgusting. Only problem is everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras, no one ever gets dirt under their fingernails. You'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm real worried. They're gonna kill me. I'm gonna get eaten alive. 48D. Emma! Okay. I'm scared. I'm trying to breathe, trying to think. She's crazy. She's crazy! Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know that bet just from the look on her face. Oh my god, it's me. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjutant up there? Is it asleep? Oh my word! It's loading. It needs to load? Don't be rude, not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial. In the case of David Asher's death, it's spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Reyes or London would get chewed out for leaking these things to press. But uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping out a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns, usually, preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal for them to film inside the courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. Don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because I can be there. Because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of the circus. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? With all those films you watch, I figured that you could extrapolate. I am asking so as to correct my misconceptions. While not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated, the court will come to order, there will be a clarification on the charges, the defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security surrounding the particular individual of the case. What do you do then? Sit here and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine the witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response as long as I have the discovery backing me. You said that before. Discovery means just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along just because I liked you, did you? And the jury? I don't see where they would sit. The jury haven't sat in an actual courtroom for years now. They just have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trials proceeding in anonymity. And that's not an issue. Don't people want them to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With the tools like optics and arcs, there's never any sort of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant. Easier said than done. They lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now all the evidence suggests that David Asher killed himself. It's going to be an uphill battle. I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts. And that needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. Oh my lord. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD 84 presiding. I call to order the case of People versus Asher. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show start. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls on me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My designation code is AD84. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering why. What gives a machine this right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or defied, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. And you are beautiful! Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vivitrurian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? This is gorgeous bod! Hell yeah, girl. Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was just trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty or whatever. Your Honor. Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor. This is a preliminary hearing to confirm whether or not David Asher did in fact commit suicide as he... I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckooing the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone. I didn't realize that mutants were so lively. They're not. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. It looks like we got served the most in need of repairs action the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher was rushed to get to this trial must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. 80. Raw salmon, running water, and gymnastics. Dislikes criminals, contrarians, and pigeons. Sign Libra. Self-assigned. Type. Open, obedient, observant. Oh, people. I don't believe that. What's the look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Oh my god. Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you have your doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still just an adjudicant. Ah! She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So, as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable. So, people, shall we get started with the first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. Yay! 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 I missed her. Ah! Look at you. It's Yumi. Hi, Yumi. Hey. So, how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole truth and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough for me. Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Asher, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 a.m. would have been very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Objection! The defense will have the opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was, yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. Ah! No, my points! My money! No! No! Being cute is my job. God damn, we barely gotten started. That seemed pretty bad, Adonai. Making mistakes will increase your blind. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trials as the stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Blind starts and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in high roller. Oh. We're fucked. Mind the blind number in the top left when it appears. Blind -1. It helps you gauge what you stand to lose. We should try to avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time that he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would have been lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms. Correct? In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean? Dialogue will proceed automatically during the testimony, but you can still choose to advance text manually with continue. You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Hover over the call button or toggle insight to focus on the claims within a witness statement. Testimony will loop until you call. Shit. I need to catch her mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Oh, with whiskey. That's our only one? Well, that's not true, because the whiskey Yeah, no. The chalk screen wasn't totally clean because he had whiskey. He had alcohol. Oh, never mind. David's contract and upright cup. Well, I think it's the whiskey. The subject passed away due to respiratory failure. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. He would have experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, and then fainting. As the subject was healthy, the respiratory failure must be attributed to a drug overdose. But when the tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. No! After choosing a call on a statement, you need to respond with evidence! Ah! Look over the 3 cards that show up and confirm your card before the timer runs out. The whiskey. Wanna bet? It's impossible for David Asher's tox screen to be clean, and we all know it, since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. Ah! That makes sense. And that scared you? You got that wrong. Successfully object to the testimony for the first time. Let's go! The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not at such a concentration level to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything that they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum, more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screens were negative for the pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body, and it just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we're all going to get pretty tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for the substance, Your Honor. The people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put all my creative heuristics to work coming up for an original scientific fitting name for the substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3! That name is already taken. Fine, call it Delta or whatever. Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta matches no public pharmacology or toxicology records. The call animation is so good. No, you're all good. Be as excited as you please. This is awesome. That being said, chemically it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect in the body when ingested. I say ingested. Why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. I need a drink. Ugh. They're blowing me up. Okay. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things to the court? Yes, please! I wasn't listening that closely. The victim died of respiratory failure. His tox screen shows that his blood was clear of anything that caused respiratory failure, except for this unknown substance. The poison that we labeled Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite, Your Honor. This may be clearly a poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. Young's testimony. People shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Ball's in my court now. How do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly. Oh boy. Oh boy. And the Delta caused his respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. During Blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Choose the only questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think of a line is worth questioning. A line of questioning is worth pursuing, or else you'll go bust and lose credit. Select the pressed option. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 21. So don't press further if you're already there. Don't ask the wrong questions. With my cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of that argument, and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. We know that the Delta is to blame. We know that it was respiratory failure. So the answer is clearly, are you sure it was ingested? Right? Our blind is -4. We're so fucked. Dr. Sato, you said the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally. But how can we be so sure about that? Pretty sure? I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities I checked, but... Press. But how can... Yes, knowingly, I see. I'm nervous. Why did I do that? Maybe I was wrong. Oh. But how can we be... How sure can we be that the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Would it have to have been a large amount? Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have just been a drop. That kind of thing could easily go unnoticed, yes? Calls for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Oh man, I want to jump on her case. Okay, what else should we... Well... I wouldn't press on this. I would press on this, maybe. Isn't it possible that he actually died from something other than respiratory failure? Well, no, not really. Fuck. You could argue or speculate about what caused the respiratory failure, but it is, in fact, a fact that he died because his heart and lungs stopped working. Right, thank you for that. Oh, shit, I screwed that up. Alright. Well, let's try this one. You were only able to identify the presence of this Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this ever before seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I've had time to run simulations and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant, and just enough of anything, of any depressant and the respiratory failure would occur. Only simulations. Only simulations? You've ran simulations, so you haven't actually tested Delta on an actual person. No, I haven't. That would have been very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample, not to mention highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know if Delta can, for sure, that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you described. Was there a question in that statement, counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet. Anyway. Not yet, anyway. Seems like that. Ooh! Blackjack! Oh, hell yeah! Oh, the world! Reached 21 in blackjack. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We appreciate it. But it does really seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, wouldn't you say? While the poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for that happened? Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and his respiratory system was weakened, undiagnosed pneumonia? With his level of health care, it is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. Ugh. That felt weak. But I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Seeding doubt whenever I can, however, is just what I can... It's just about all I can manage. Aw, she's sleepy. Poor Emma. I love my gambling elementary so much. Yup! This rules. Detective Reyes! Oh my god! Detective Reyes, you were on one of the leads in the investigating this crime scene. Yes, ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who called them. They were both airlifted to the Gatesfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Asher was declared shortly after arriving there. She's actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand. I half expected her to roll her eyes during swearing in. But when you take into consideration her love for Boot Heel authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power of the people. The witness met with the deceased about half an hour before he fell ill from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, the witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. None. Though a collaborative effort of Noble Electronics Security Division. We searched the entire building. But we found nothing unusual in any of the food, drinks on the premises. Including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. So, what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness's drinks was clean. The only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So, it was our determination that Dr. Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. The police want to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle. But I know that there are a number of blind spots they're not willing to admit to. Okay, we got upright cup, David's cup, poison, question mark. I'm worried about it. Asher met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. He drank from the... We don't know that he poisoned himself. Not poison, half into your... This one? Ah! I hope it worked. Please? You can't make that claim, not when the evidence clearly shows the test that Dr. Asher's cups were inconclusive. The police can't claim that he drank a poison cup without first proving that his cup was in fact poison. Oh my goodness. Thank God I can read fast, because I made a really bad decision. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve? Or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford? Testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher alone. Not at this time, but the funny thing about the burden of proof is that it's not on the defense, as we're all aware. Right. Well, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby. Fire away, baby. Ray's testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focused on eliminating other possibilities, I can get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happened. If it hits her, you got her? Okay, good. I thought so, because I just haven't seen the fail animation yet. Oh boy. This is a good question. Blind -7. The only people you saw on camera that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah, there was no other footage in the house of anyone else. And any parts of the house that aren't recorded by a camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in his home's interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there were other people there that night because the cameras weren't watching them every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is straight through the building's elevator on the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that still wouldn't get you past his front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them was there that day. What about before that day? That's a good question, because I was there a few days ago. And if they had been there before yesterday, then we would have seen them leave again through the front door. God damn it. I should have stayed. I kind of thought that would have been a good line of questioning. Why did I think that? Your Honor, I believe that we have exhausted this particular line of questioning. Not that exhausted, god damn it. Okay. Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence that showed David Asher adding anything to his drink last night? That night? No. It seems like he had already poured for both of them by the time he returned to the parlor. He had already poured. In that case, the next question needs to be when and what. Ooh. Any poison in the kitchen? Detective Reyes, in the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found any poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about in his lab? His bedroom? His basement? No, no, and no. We didn't find Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of his penthouse. Right. They never found any poison. No poison at all. Yeah, we haven't found any, like, containers. At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials? Eyedroppers? He didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring some poison? Yeah. Yeah! Okay. I have fixed everything. We're so smart. What do you mean, procure? Where did it come from, detective? The poison that you're so sure that was dissolved in his drink? It can't have come from thin air, you understand? It has to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it was in before, it probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? Where did he keep it in? The police want to claim Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had an opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove that the victim had means to kill himself. And I guess I'll be one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, counselor. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Asher was able to drip poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Shit. That is way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G. A piece of machinery was found in Doctor's Oh, fuck! No! Wait, we know what's made up of, though. We know what that machine can put in there. I don't think we can do that. Sold on another production named Nanofactor. Oh, I know this one! It's used in delicate scientific research to produce nanomachines, chemical compounds, and polymers. That's the same machinery I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the protection floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the android can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. Or any other chemical his heart desired, really. You think Randoc Mechanics would allow it to produce illicit chemicals? Using the manufacturer to make unlicensed drugs does go against their terms and conditions. So Dr. Asher's warranty was certainly null and void. But they can't hard code into the machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he did not need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce the Delta at any time in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death, readily available in under a minute, and at the touch of a button. Specifically, Preset 19. Damn! I thought I actually had something from a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand the whole time. Bro. We're so fucked. What are we supposed to do? Okay. Seems like we're done with this witness. It seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. And not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. We know that Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36. That's where he got the whiskey and the cups they drank from. The camera show him returning to the parlor to drink at 7:40. And of course we know he fell ill and passed away. Yes. She has the timeline right. So far, she's made a mistake. Not yet. Not this time, though. The timeline you described is accurate, as we know it. As you say. With the latest piece of evidence, we now know Dr. Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup by placing it inside the manufacturer and activating the preset and simply waiting 2 minutes. Easily accomplished this during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. Wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means, he had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here, no? Oh my god, she's so cool. Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? I don't know, I had a feeling you said that. Well, counselor, are we done here? Emma's argument is foolproof. Emma's argument is missing something. She has to be missing something. We can't, like... wait. No. I don't know. I want to raise because I'm a gambler. And I don't want Emma to win. Because if we let her go here, there's no way we'd be able to make it back out, right? We wouldn't be able to disprove suicide. We're raising! Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive. Oh, right. I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. This is a preliminary hearing, counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so... It just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars. Not to get us all down here for debate and not get into the truth of the matter, you know? Staying is admitting defeat. Yeah, that was my logic. So, I was hoping that we wouldn't have to go through this next part. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court... Ooh, new evidence. Gimme. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man that he was in a relationship with, named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call. Emma wants to present it here now. The content must be relevance, Your Honor. Yeah, that... What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day that he died. He didn't care. Cool, begin the playback. Oh, I don't want to read this. Oh, no, no. No! Oh, I don't want to read it. Why would they do that to me? Do they hate me? They hate me. Hello? Always so soft-spoken. Oh. Isaac, you there? Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah, how have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did. That's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always better left unsaid, isn't it? Right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted. I know. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh. Okay. So do you need anything, or should I? Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the Lingsman number system. And the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended for quality insurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. Shall we hear the rest? Gotta be the last time. The last time I let someone. The last time. It might just be a call, but it makes pretty damning evidence for that at this point in discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up now without anything else that horrible? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does this mean this is just pity? Oh, I don't want her to pity me. I would rather die. I would cry and scream and kick. Don't pity me. I say me as if I'm Morgan. I'm not Morgan. I don't want her to pity too. Ah! I'm crazy. This was awful. I hated this. I hated this. I hated this. Ugh. I blow everything up with my mind. Okay. Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter entered the relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate inbreeders and ant-brain protesters but pitying me here and now? That's all that it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for me to call my first witness, no? You want to keep going? After that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock solid slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Jess! Our friend Jess! Ugh! My sweetums! She better not fuck us over. I don't think she will. I believe in her. Sorry. I'm so giddy about her. Okay. Is here good? It doesn't matter where I put my hands. Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Oh, of course, whatever I can do. What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet. Starling's the only play I have right now, the only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information as I can from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive's about 60% decrypted. Yay! Considering that the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there may be another hour left. I might be able to stall that long. If I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he regarded well regarded professionally? Of course! Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications? Were there ever threats? Did people ever express intent to harm him? Objection calls for speculation. Intent? I'm feeling like it's gonna be sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of, negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all of his contributions to the field, it was easy to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop, and people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance? Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes. But I always turn those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have contact with David Asher in years. The police have taken this the police take harassment very seriously. Something you want to add, counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? Okay, we gotta check our phone. We got so much evidence. Okay. Harassment. Recorded calls. Yep. Isaac's call. Okay. Hi, Nate. 8084. Yup. True. Addie. Let me pull her up. 80. She rules. You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you ever have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that's what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew that he could talk to me, but... Did he ever talk to you, or to your knowledge anyone else, about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know any of history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So what you heard about... So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to themselves, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection. On what grounds? Asked and answered. Stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy! And what's the matter? What matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased's mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondence that describe... If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence that pertains to his crime. Convincing! Damn! I didn't honestly expect her to stop from admitting her evidence to the court, but I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on that footage? 77%. Approximately. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can, even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between Dr. Asher and the psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how his treatment was covered under his platinum plan. Platinum? I don't intend to air out of all Dr. Asher's secrets in the court. Oh, okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts of messages and transcripts of phone calls. This is gonna be about what Young was saying. Young was saying stuff about... Is that in my evidence at all? Young was saying stuff about how they would use psychiatric meetings and etc. to oh wait, no, that was just for consulting people. Well, maybe not, actually. The higher... Wait. Don't save. Okay, wait. I'm working through this in my head. Meetings with consulting about espionage, because people would try to make you sick or kill you, etc. if you were a higher up like her and David. So these meetings very well could have just been that. Unless I'm reading too much into it. Ugh. Which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. transcripts of his phone calls. I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. There's something strange about this evidence. There's nothing strange yet. This is fishy. This is fishy. I don't believe this for a second. I'll gladly object. On the grounds of the Foundation. Where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out... Oh, right! I forgot about that! Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan and not a platinum plan. What? Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him. And he was also seeing the psychiatrist, both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he had paid for on his own. Even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption. But that doesn't make it correct. David used separate insurance to hide a psychiatrist from Noble spying? No, he was smarter than that. Oh! We have to go all in. I want my money! The recorded calls. We would have... It's all monitored by Noble. Noble would have known, right? Young's testimony wouldn't work here. The evaluation. That's serious financial stuff. That does not matter. That's his autopsy, so it has to be the recorded calls, right? Send it! David may have very well wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who may have had his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all the phone calls were being recorded. That's... David Asher was very well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would try and hide his mental health problems from them when he was a second insurance company? Apparently, yes, because I'm standing right here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it, though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done encrypting. Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle this issue or confuse the court, Your Honor, and I would never make outlandish substantiated claims to just the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in the act of corporate espionage. Ah, there we go, baby. Let's go. What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months. Objection! Mischaracterization? Foundation? All the rest? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers, many enemies, would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal... And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here to begin with, arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now that you're trying to call the police evidence gathering into the equation. All because you can't admit for the past several months your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday, and you didn't know. Monday? He doesn't do shit Mondays. That is... sorry, but like... Did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when the girls are fighting! Yes, ma'am. How with my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning, if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. In my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, counselor. At this stage of the game, with the score where it is at, I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it count. So what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here. And she only did that because... Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night. So please tell us, when exactly did he last... Oh! Oh, shit. This one. Uh, they were on the phone a lot. Meeting you at HQ is kind of stupid. Contact you might be it. See you is wrong. Their last interaction was like turning over a phone call. Or doing the phone call about Sarah. So it should be contact you. It should be, but I'm nervous. Yeah, we're going with contact you. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night. 6:57 p.m. Oh, shoot. We texted back and forth. There are records of some texts, but they're flagged as work-related. How does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? The texting makes a big difference. The texting isn't relevant. We have no chance if we don't raise. I don't believe it. I'm scared. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? I just got chills. Don't know why though. It must be equivalent leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that changed the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking. But the order of events is critical. Oh boy. Let's go, baby. Especially if Emma wants to make sense of David's state of mind. Select and place your cards in your hand in the slots to chronicle order left to right. You can pick a card back up and place it in another slot if you change your mind. Or use return to undo the last card you placed down. Fill the slots to submit your answer. Okay. Okay, well, David faints last. Yes. Isaac's call is first. Starling's text would be after that. And then Young's testimony would be here. Yeah! Oh, I didn't raise. Crap. I didn't see it. Whatever. I'm making money. Thanks to Miss Starling, now we've got a much clearer picture of last night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m. And I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant at Miss Starling at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with a witness from 7:30 to 8:30, or 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events. But we do question Counselor Morgan's reasons for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays, and he was going to be in attendance. Well, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh! To summarize then, let's go! I knew it! Half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning on an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you're planning on dying that very night. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow a moment. Sounds like an opening to me. If we assume that Dr. Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted this idea that Delta must have come from inside his nanofactory, from inside the house. I don't know. Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean he was the one who used the nanofactor. I don't know. Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Sure, why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rockford have gained access to the hard drive files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has to be a silver bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. It's the least risky path to victory that we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer. Yes, Adonai. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Your Honor. I'm awake! And I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage. The police corroborated the witness testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You... what? The people say that Delta must have been inside Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it, but we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera, because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation. That he added Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the manufacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups between the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he did not have the opportunity to poison himself. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So, better to be the Joker who dances. The data hasn't been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement. Yes, Adonai, I'll search for it now. Here. On screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing a bottle of Rose River and leaving at 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that then? Is it then? I just came that far to— wait, did he have the cups with him? Is there sound? None at all. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups. Counselor. What's that android doing on camera? God damn it. Oh, did she do it? It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups. Shit. That machine never stepped on camera upstairs. Not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit! What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Oh. With all the evidence about Sarah in here, I kind of thought. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's... Your Honor. In the light of this most recent events, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and in this preliminary hearing. It has been made abundantly clear that Dr. Asher did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. As well as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan! Yay. Chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. Now all I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. What are we supposed to do? It's 3 p.m. How much longer is this? We might have to just finish this episode next Saturday. And then start the next part, the next episode, same day. I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that his android did. I proved that the android has been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot. A true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Oh, hello! Ha! As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some pet joke, is it, Miss Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know I like the adjectives, I always have. They deal with the criminal trials that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treaties. Okay. Well, we'll just finish this section then. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all of this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Counselor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to? That's correct, Your Honor. So what did it do exactly? Torture an animal, shut down the hospital, crash a coin market? We have it on camera poisoning a man, killing its creator. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277A, docket number YT 9843188282. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? YT48, not... 948? I think I lost you after that first 8. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks. The subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3,422 Celsius for 30 minutes. Sorry, Spearman. There's nothing to be done. No debates to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. Not Spearman. David gave you that name. I shall at least make effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we even have furnaces that get that hot? Of course, there are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything. Especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry? I was just saying how grateful I am that we have procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest to human civilization in the sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our own nation in a matter of moments. Yes, I could have said it about her myself. straight from the textbook almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They should have never been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... No one's blaming you, counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day and I've had a lot of thoughts. Sorry, Sarah, whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, coarse, and futile. And pointless. Spending hours in front of a TV or lying in bed staring at your phone. Oh, watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâché an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow despite it having nothing to feed on. Stupid. Morgan? What was that, counselor? I said objection. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm the defense attorney. This is what I do. I understand you've been through a lot these past few hours, counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android Sarah is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously? And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true, and no laws have been broken on your part. Here it comes. I never thought I'd be self-incriminating. Oh, incriminating myself, but in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try to entrap me on this. Ah, it's Sarah's paper. The lady on TV had her pose. Oh, yeah. Ooh. It's pretty simple, actually. The state is making the claim that Sarah's an AI. They're accusing me of committing a felony because I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you only own it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes. And here you are risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so... fun. Oh boy. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction, other than feelings of personal attachment. Oh, that's a lot of money. Yeah. I love money! I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into a slag. It's a slag. One very convincing reason. Or at least a very convincing number. What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You've gotta be. I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. This does seem like a reasonable incentive for wanting to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor, and I have right to defend myself. Oh wait, no, that's not. What am I doing? I'm tired. It's a free country, Your Honor, and I have the right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half a decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads, spiraling into the appeal after appeal, all the while the media This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public indeed needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither desire nor resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect that it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure thwarted. Don't be so cute. I feel stomachals are coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be a long day tomorrow. Prove that this machine killed Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof, and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest that you have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. D.A. Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth, and by the end of tomorrow, we can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now I need you to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. My God. Morgan. I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I just wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney, just trying to tread water? Is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't even know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them on the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. For David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. And ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I got it to. I don't want to stand with the book burners. Stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you got in the right? You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. I talked big game just now. But I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. Alright, we're gonna stop there. Next day at 9:31 a.m. We're gonna stop once we... Oh, precinct... Homicide office! Oh my god, wait! Aww. I was gonna say, I wanna see London again. Oh, okay, we are saved. That's good. But Jesus Christ. We're so fucked. I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll figure it out. People are messaging me. Okay, sorry, I got scared. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I don't know if we'll have a stream next Saturday. I'm out of town until on that Friday beforehand, so I don't know if I'll be up to it in the morning. You know how it is. We'll see. I'll make sure to stay updated. This game is so good. I'm so excited. I'm scared. I'm terrified. It's PM. True. Wait, did Wes go live? I know she was saying she might stream. Oh wait, no, she didn't. No, she said that she was thinking about it, but they're staying around for tonight. That's right. Duh. Alright, whatever. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Go watch Five Tail. I won't raid them. I'll leave them be. I don't remember what they're playing. I think it might be Wuthering Waves. Yay!